Our journey through myth is coming to a close, everyone, and what a journey it has been. It was my pleasure to showcase 5 unique characters, all of which offered fantastic experiences. I enjoyed munching on countless numbers of beautifully crafted and delicious foods while exploring a wonderful peach utopia. The cold winds of the Moon Polar Island were no match for the hospitality of those who resided on it, and some of the many new alchemy recipes that were at our disposal, mind you. And finally, the revisit to yet another myth character in the Jade Rabbit. And it proved fun in and of itself at the end of the day. And just everything has been simply spectacular. And we have an incredibly talented mod team to thank endlessly for that. But yes, today is our last day in Myth Worlds, folks. And we've saved the biggest, baddest for last. But before we get to all that, we need to cover just a handful of things not done so in the previous parts here. So, let's get to it. And word of warning, I am not really going to explain how to get things like the Myth Words book, how to access the Myth tab itself, pills, location, characters, etc. So you'll have to go see the other videos for all that. For now, however, let us discuss 3 Myth tab crafts left on the table. Starting with the War Banner here. And on paper, it is said to slightly increase not only player damage, but that of their minions as well. However, it kinda looks like the modders don't necessarily mean just any followers, mind you. But please let me know if that is indeed the case and I'm doing something wrong. But it is also used to increase our speed to boot. But you must note that there is an effective range to the banners themselves. So while having multiple flags doesn't actually stack any of that, having multiple placed around boss arenas just ensures coverage of said boosts. Oh, and you can also just pick them up and move them at your disposal too, which is very nice. Next up though, the cassock. It's a piece of clothing gear that will likely fall under your radar at first given its overall lack of use, but it will become very important following the death of one of the several bosses coming up here today. But for now, however, know that it will restore 5.4 sanity per minute, which actually ain't too shabby, and it will slow down the rate of hunger loss while equipped. Good stuff. But finally, the last basic Myth Words craft to cover is the Traveler's Hat. Thing is though, while it may be relatively tame when worn by normal characters, a certain Myth World character benefits greatly when it's atop their noggin instead. Then again, 120 insulation and a sanity gain of 6 per minute really isn't that all basic, so perhaps you really shouldn't listen to me on that one. However, let's bring our pal Monkey King in for a moment here, as he is the one who can take advantage of the cap fully, as his Golden Eye ability typically costs hunger and sanity to use. However, with a Traveler's Hat on, the sanity penalty gets negated entirely, and the hunger drain drops to half effectiveness. Great stuff. But with the Monkey King coming back into the fold here, we need to fire through a select set of myth character specific alchemy crafts that we never actually got around to. Starting with the Phoenix Plume here. The plume is made via a red gem and 3 down feathers obtained via a moose goose. But it also does nothing by its lonesome, for you see, it's an ingredient for something grander. The Phoenix Tail Crown. This Monkey King exclusive headpiece is made via a Thulsite crown, an orange gem cratered moon rock, and 2 phoenix plumes. And my goodness, it looks bloody sweet. Plus, wearing it makes it so that use of the Golden Eye ability will no longer drain your hunger and sanity, but decrease the durability of the crown instead along the way. Very nice, but sanity will still drop come nightfall, mind you. But speaking of sanity, you should note that killing most anything hostile in the game with the crown equipped will actually restore sanity per kill as well, which is also nice. But if we're going to discuss the next piece of gear, we're going to need 2 more unique ingredients first, the Stone Heart and Dragon Scale Satin. The stone heart is whipped up via the shadow atrium attained from the shadow pieces, a big peach, which can only be gotten off the Peach Utopia island, and 2 normal rocks. And it's going to serve no other purpose, it seems, beyond being an ingredient just the same as the plume. And the dragon scale satin will also follow suit in that regard, and can be made with 2 dragonfly scales, a piece of thick fur from our fluffy pal Berger, and a shroom skin from the king of all frogs, Toadstool. But man, with such expensive and overly involved recipes to simply create mere ingredients for something, the heck is this something? That would be the golden hauberk, aka the armor of the Monkey King. Toss together a stone heart, dragon scale satin, a thule-side armor, and a walrus tusk of all things, for an armor itself that boasts 4,000 durability, 85% damage reduction, and a bloody fantastic style to it, don't you think? But that's not all, actually. For you see, the armor grants a 15% damage boost to the Monkey King, and prevents him from being stun-locked, which I now just realized would have been really useful against a certain boss fight coming up, but what have you. Pretty cool all around, but mighty expensive. However, the Monkey King is not the only myth character to have received some cool new kit. 3 Eyes would like a word as well. With an eyebrow, a blue and purple cratered moonrock, and a Malbatross bill, you can use the alchemy engine to create the Mountain Peak Crown, as you can see here. And it is essentially the very same as the Phoenix Tail Crown, only instead of reducing the cost of the Monkey King's power, it's going to do the same thing for 3 Eyes' power. Simple enough. But the simplicity ends there, with another thule-side armor piece, an iridescent gem, a big peach, and even a piece of feathery canvas. The silver hauberk can be yours. Called the spring hauberk in-game, it also boasts 4,000 durability and 85% damage protection. However, not only will it increase speeds by 10% and even protect against wetness 100% of the time, once you actually hit 0 degrees with your personal temperature, said speed boost increases to 25% overall. Now, is that ideal considering the other circumstances that follow being at 0 degrees? Not really, but hey, it's a thing. Oh, and the armor also has a built-in 50% cold resistance too, which kind of feels counterintuitive, but hey, what have you again. But what I have for you now, everyone, are 3 unique boss fights to end the day here. Starting with the Black Bear. Going on hunts at any point with the Myth World mod enabled has a chance to spawn this fluffy beast. And what a fluffy beast it is. Very much Berger-like, the Black Bear roams around looking for munchies, but very unlike Berger, he is aggressive upon those who simply get too close. Thankfully, that is our plan here today. Here's the deal, everyone. Black Bear here is practically a reskinning. Same attack pattern, same number of swings to reach an ultimate smash attack, similar movement, albeit much slower overall, mind you, and a disarming mechanic if and when it hits you. In short, if you have conquered Berger, you're likely going to be a-okay with the Black Bear here. That said, there are some really neat mechanics to him that I'm sure you have already noticed. His smash attack is now no longer just an area of effect attack. It forms a circle of unique boulders that aren't actually so unique as they are what the Iron Hulk creates in its fight within Don't Starve Hamlet, but whatever the case, they are meant to constrain your movement and block help and or your escape. But given his slow speed, it's not really a problem, really. What was a problem, as I didn't really see it coming, was his ability to transform into a bloody tornado out of nowhere. Come half health and below, the Black Bear will occasionally perform this attack that disarms you all the same and can of course stun lock you if you don't dodge it. And as his health gets lower, he does it more often. It's cool, but it's also very easy to time and dodge once you get the hang of it. But all in all, a simple, unique, fun fight. But let's talk loot. Obviously, expect a crap ton of meat to follow its death, so munch it up. But not so obviously, to some of you out there, will be the pill gourd that will also come with pills already inside it, which is just awesome. But you'll be needing to watch some previous parts to learn more up on them. But he also drops a cassock, the same clothing item we mentioned earlier. And here is where that becomes very important, as reading the Cam Land Cassock blueprint that the Black Bear drops unlocks the Cam Land Cassock recipe, and with it, we can gain an 8.1 sanity per minute gain, a much greater deceleration of our hunger drains, and it will even protect us fully from nightmare creatures if they happen to be nearby. Good stuff. But next comes the Rhinoceros, or at least as I call them. But to spawn them, one must locate the myth altar somewhere in their world, offer a peach as tribute, wait until a spring night, and then kindle the candles with fuel of most any kind in order for them to spawn in. They too are actually neutral at first, but don't let their looks and their relatively low health deceive you. These guys are insanely annoying to fight. For one thing, they are constantly using their respective elemental attacks. Fire for red, ice for blue, and earthquakes like Antlion for gray. Very similar to the elemental attacks of claws, mind you. On top of that, simply being close to either the red or blue bros will cause temperatures to rise and fall, and things, including you, to be set ablaze or freeze. Then on top of that, they all work bloody together, and attack so fast to the point where getting hits in yourself is an absolute chore. And oh yeah, do I need to remind you that they all just casually deal 150 damage a hit each? So, yep, it's all a thing. And the only reason why I'm not dead immediately here is because I'm using several of the special pills from this mod that protect me from fire damage, from being frozen, and taking more damage in general. Because without them, this fight is literally impossible. Which is okay, I guess, in the context of this mod, but holy crap, I think it should be toned down just a wee bit here. Heck, I was getting my butt handed to me by just 2 of them, as the third one just wandered off somewhere. But separate them, and the kiting and avoiding of their attacks becomes less of a problem, but together, they just overwhelm. So my advice is this: don't fight them alone. It's a certain death sentence, for sure. Now, as it comes to their loot, they each drop a guardian horn, a lantern for decoration as we know from the last part, a gem of respective color essentially, and another item like charcoal, niter, or desert stone. But yup, that's it. They actually don't drop anything new or special. But finally, the most recent addition to the big bad family with myth worlds here, the Golden Toad. Found solely on the Moon Palace Island, one must mine the ingot statue in order to spawn him in at their choosing. And no, your eyes do not deceive you. It has just under 100,000 flippin' health, similar to Misery Toadstool. Oh, and I should remind you before we get too far in, it's constantly snowing on this island, so you have to constantly be battling freezing temperatures too. But, speaking of Toadstool, we can expect a very similar set of mechanics throughout this fight, but all with really fun twists to them. For one thing, instead of boom shrooms, the Golden Toad calls down and drops gold coins, gold nuggets, and lucky gold nuggets atop our heads, which already separates him from the original. And instead of the boom spores and the gas that they eventually release, the toad attaches pouches to our head, and giant lucky gold nuggets will come crashing down after a few seconds. This leads to craters like the ant mine causes, mind you. Very cool stuff. But that's not all. Instead of trees spawning during its charging phase, the Golden Toad calls down golden frogs that will cause great annoyance, let me tell ya. Thing is though, just like the trees, the more frogs still alive, the faster the Golden Toad will move and activate its attacks, mind you, as well as increase its own defense against us, so be mindful there. But I truly enjoy the fun they had with this one though, as it just keeps going. For its desperation attack has a little twist too. It's kind of exactly like Toadstool's, only after it does its earthquake, it's gonna try to lunge and do some earthquake attacks at you as well. Cool stuff. But even still, once near its death, the golden frogs it spawns will also now start dropping lucky gold nuggets, which is a nice touch. And once it's fully dead itself, the golden toad leaves behind all sorts of gems like dragonfly does, and iridescent gems specifically, plenty of gold, lots of lucky gold nuggets, and even special things for this mod called gold coins. Oh, and there's something called the golden twig and the treasure ball. So let's discuss. Given this treasure bowl, either gold coins and or lucky gold nuggets seemingly returns any item in the game at random. But perhaps it's not just items either, as you can see. I truly have no clue what the loot table actually is here, but rest assured, it's extensive. Have fun. And finally, the gold tree. Assembled with the golden twig that the toad drops, and a crap ton of gold coins and lucky gold nuggets, the gold tree produces money indefinitely for more treasure bowl usage essentially, and does so every 2 days. So if you need more gold coins, here is your ticket to them. Oof! But with that, everyone, we say our final goodbyes to Myth Worlds, which I only now may have just found is actually translated to Myth Worlds, and I feel like a fool. That said, I was certainly not foolish for giving this mod a try, and all the bloody spotlight that I could possibly give it, as it deserves it, and then some. There is nothing more to possibly say than thank you. Thanks to all those who ever had a hand in constructing literally anything in this incredible mod. Folks, give it a try. Thanks for watching, well wishes to all, and I'll see ya in the next one. Bye-bye.